All right, welcome to our final project. So for our final project, we're going to do an isometric room. Here are some examples of what an isometric room might look like. Again, you can do these in 2D or 3D. They can be done to, whatever level of polish you see fit. Something like this. What does isometric mean? Isometric basically just means that everything is the same in any dimension, right? So the head of the bed is just as wide as the foot of the bed, right? This rug is equal on those two sides. In other words, just and as opposed to our last project where things recede as they go into the distance and they change dimension. So bigger things are closer to you, smaller things are further away. Everything is always the same dimensionality in an isometric composition. So we are going to work on something like this. There's some advantages to doing this for interiors especially. If you're trying to design a room, one of the nice things is that you can move things around in these rooms and sort of determine exactly how you want the room layout to look. It's pretty super for that. A lot of games use this. There's entire games that are created in an isometric perspective, which is pretty fun. Okay, just like any other project, we're first going to start by gathering some references. The first reference you need to grab for doing an isometric room is an isometric grid. And isometric grids are available on the internet. You're going to find a number of different types of them, perhaps. You might find some that are more like this, where they're just kind of like graph paper on a slant. Other ones that you're going to find are going to be more like this. So which kind do you want? Well, you can use either, but I actually recommend this sort of triangular kind. And you'll kind of see why in a little bit. But if I grab that grid and I put it down here, I'm going to just sort of show you generally how all this is going to work. You might need to do kind of what you did with your texturing on the last project and just kind of do a select, inverse, delete. And cut this up real nice and then make yourself a sheet of graph paper. Something like that. If the edges are misaligned, you'll have to maybe line them up. But once you have a sheet put together, you can use that as your background, and you'll just sort of have this triangular background grid. You might want to set it to multiply against your background. The advantage to having this kind of a grid as your background, why you would have the triangular grid, is because you have the prompts for your verticality. You can sort of help, it'll help you align things a lot better as you put your scene together here. No matter which direction you're going, you can kind of see what you're doing. So again, you don't really have any difference between your dimensions. 1 is equal to 2, 2 is equal to 3, 3 is equal to 1, right? These are all the same distances. A is equal to B, B is equal to C. These are the same distances. They don't change just because there's a break in the perspective. Okay, so we're going to be working on rooms in this kind of perspective, and as you'll see, it's kind of fun. It's easy and it's fun. Once you've got your isometric grid, what you're going to maybe start pulling down are some references for different types of maybe styles that interest you for a room. Two that I would recommend pulling down for this particular project to keep things simple would be a contemporary style and contemporary classic. What's the difference? Contemporary is very, very geometric. Right? This is a contemporary interior. You can see that the shapes that are being used here for like this couch are extremely geometric. The table is extremely geometric. This picture, the whole wall, the way that everything is divided is extremely geometric. And that is pretty much the signature of contemporary interior. It's not necessarily minimalist. You could do minimalist as well, I suppose, but minimalist is even more simple, and I would say looks a little sparse in these rooms. So I don't know that I'd recommend going this minimal, but I suppose it depends on how much time you're spending on the project. So I would recommend contemporary. Another one to go with maybe would be contemporary classic. I do love this style. I think it's beautiful. You can sort of see we've got a lot of like high contrast in this particular room. We do have a lot of those geometric shapes, but there are some classic touches to this as well. Some fun little designs that you could add in potentially up in the ironwork here too, right? So you might look at a couple of these styles and pick something that you find interesting. Don't forget also when you're doing your a pull down of your references, you might want to say, you know, contemporary classic office. And you can get a sense of what an office is going to look like in this particular style. Or how about a contemporary classic bathroom? Okay, so now you get a sense of what a contemporary classic bathroom is. How about a library? Cool. This is pretty dope. How about a contemporary classic kitchen? There we go. So these are all different things that you can pull down. Just pull them right onto your canvas and look through them. And just like we did before with all of our other projects, make sure you're picking out the elements that you like. Don't pick elements that are going to be too hard to replicate. Just try and keep things on the geometric side. Don't do lots of organic shapes or anything. Just keep things as simple as you can. Simple is better for these projects. Next time when we start up, we're going to start doing thumbnail sketches to kind of suggest what our rooms might look like, and we'll get going on this final project.